Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and guess what day it is? It's Pet Text Tuesday. And if you do love our Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And if you would like to be involved in Pet Text Tuesday, don't forget to send me the pictures of your pets at Mark Narrations over on Twitter with the hashtag Pet Text Tuesday, of course, to allow me to use your photos. And just a huge thank you for being involved. I hope to expand this into more art-based stuff in the future. I need a cool tag to come up with for another day though as well, so if you can think of those, let me know. And let's just crack on with today's first story. Now this story comes from Ron Tin, who says, I 30 male snooped and caught my girlfriend 27 female in a lie. My girlfriend of 4 months casually told me one day that an ex-boyfriend of hers from about a year and a half ago contacted her on Facebook and they had a really great conversation for an hour or so one night. She said they were catching up and clearing up some problems they had while dating. Obviously, I was more than a little put off by this news, but I'm not normally the jealous type, so I didn't fret too much. All told, she has continued to talk to the guy for 2 months now. At times, she would talk to him on Facebook right in front of me. Also, at times, she would momentarily stop face to face, up to 10 minutes at a time, and text conversations with me to chat with this dude on Facebook. I feel like an arse for snooping, but I was suspicious about what they were talking about. When she was in the shower one day, I peeked at her phone. Her ex was telling her how much he still loved her and how he wanted her to come out to Utah to meet up with him. She answered in a way that I kinda liked though, telling him that she didn't have feelings and that in reality, he didn't either. Basically, she was diffusing the situation. He persisted in his wishes to rekindle the romance though. One time she interrupted our conversation to chat with this guy. I asked her what she was talking about. I told her I don't really mind her talking to him, but that I wouldn't like it if he was trying to get her back or something. I asked her point blank if he was telling her that he still had feelings for her, which I knew he was saying. She lied to me and told me they were both on the same page about their relationship and they were just interested in remaining friends. They both knew it was over, but she liked to talk to him because he is a cool guy. Further, like a true asshat, I snooped again a few weeks later. This is probably about 2 weeks ago. He's telling her that he wants to take her to the Bahamas during the holidays. She tells him, finally, that she is seeing somebody, but also adds that taking her to the Bahamas is a huge step and he is coming on strong. However, the conversation continues and all of a sudden he is telling her about his Jeep and how he likes to go backroading. She tells him that she wants him to come to Texas to take her backroading to start slow. Then maybe he can take her to Bora Bora, then Paris. We started talking one day about Facebook conversations and she mentioned that she deleted a conversation that she was having with an old friend. And for whatever reason, she added that she deleted the conversation that she was having with her ex-boyfriend. I asked why and she just sort of said, why not? Almost as if she wasn't interested with him anymore. I never told her that I snooped and I know she was lying to me and that she, whether serious or not, invited this guy down to our city. It has definitely tainted my view of the relationship. Despite my hesitance with her, however, our relationship is really great right now. I don't know if I should bring it up with her before moving any further or not. I feel like a complete douche for snooping and I would have trouble telling her that. I'm just not sure what to do. I feel like it should be addressed, but I don't know how to tell her that I was a huge ass and didn't trust her. I don't want to destroy the relationship, though I fear I may have done just that with my actions alone. And we do have an update to this story, but ones like this I always find pretty simple in some ways, and the way I kind of always look at it, well, right or wrong, I'm not sure, is that if you've lost the trust in this person, I don't think you can ever build a relationship from that. I think it's always going to be in the back of your mind about what's she doing now, who's she messaging, is she contacting her ex again? Could it be another ex? Who knows? Like you said, she's already invited her ex to your city to start slow, as you said, and then he can take her somewhere else and then somewhere else again, which that in itself for me would be an instant deal breaker. But if you are going to try and continue this, you do need to, say what you know, because otherwise you're always going to be wondering what's going on. That's what I think anyway. But Secret X Letter says, I don't really get this. She lied to you a couple of times and also told her ex that they can take things slow. You don't see what's wrong with that. Sounds like the beginning of an emotional affair and could progress further if given the chance. Her deleting the conversation seems like she's just covering her tracks to make sure you don't become suspicious. Tell her you know. If it was me, I would have confronted her immediately and broken up with her. Anak Moon says, I don't see anyone saying this here. She is doing it for the attention. She likes someone telling her she is wanted, regardless of the fact that she is in a relationship or how often you tell her how much you find her attractive, blah blah blah. It's a selfish move on her part. But what happens now depends on you. You said yourself the relationship is in a good place right now, but what happens when it's not? Is this something? Are you someone to throw it in her face at a time of anger? Is it something that is going to eat away at you? Or is this something you can let go, let her mature within your relationship? Keep in mind, assuming you have a relationship where you can talk and feel as though you're being honest with each other. You can always sit her down and ask her again. Seriously, tell her you feel it in your gut that she isn't being completely honest about the nature of the conversations with her ex. That you just want honesty between the two of you, and a reply will hopefully help you decide what it is you need/want to do with the situation at hand. Snooping is a violation. You will have to own up to your mistakes if you want to pull it out of your pocket. Just hopefully she can admit to her own. South Florida Flirt says, social media aka drama central. Yuck. Lying. I hate that rotten word. Why does one feel they have to lie ever? It's to hide or protect something in your situation. She's lying about contact with an ex-lover who is actively trying to get her back. That is not okay. I don't know if she's looking for a safety blanket or an escape plan, but lying to your SO is bullshit. It bothered you enough to finally snoop and see for yourself. You have a big decision here to make. I feel it's already a little tarnished with a major lie like that. And one more from a deleted user who says, honestly, she's too old to behave like this. I had to scroll back to the post title to see that she's almost 30. I expect this sort of shit from late teens and college freshmen. I'm going to skip ahead and be blunt. You are fucked. This relationship is fucked. As soon as you come clean on your snooping, she's going to use that to turn this whole thing around as if it were your fault. You don't keep exes on the back burner. I don't care how cool they are. Your lesson in all this, for once this relationship crashes and burns, and it will, is that if you ever catch a girlfriend having steady communication with an ex, unless there are some very extraneous circumstances like he's dying of leukemia, you ultimatum that shit right out the door. People with respect for their partners do not carry on conversation with exes, especially not like this went down. You were just getting cheated on in slow motion. Hell, it's so slow it's hard to see. Doesn't detract from the reality that it's there, staring us in the face. Your girlfriend is selfish and disrespected you right to your face. The clock is ticking down on this train wreck. So OP came in with an update in the comments which said, shortly after I posted this, she told me that she was going to go to Utah, where her ex lives, for a few days to go skiing while I was visiting family. I was skeptical but didn't say anything about it at first. A few days later she told me she was going to go to Vermont to go skiing instead. At this point I gave her the benefit of the doubt and believed that she was actually wanting to go skiing rather than visit her ex. As quickly as that happened, she told me that she wasn't going to go anywhere. Fast forward a week later, we're talking and I casually mentioned her ski trip and asked why she changed her mind. Small talk turns into me asking her point blank if she was going to go to Utah to meet up with her ex-boyfriend. She says no. Not more than 2 minutes later, she admits that she would have seen him in Utah. I obviously expressed my displeasure that she would have considered doing that. She tells me that she wasn't going to Utah to see him. She was going to Utah primarily to go skiing, but that she would have seen him while out there. He owed her some money and she wanted him to pay for airfare to fly her out there because she thought the only way to get her money back was to fly out to see him for a day during her trip. She felt compelled to stress that she wasn't going only to see him. I told her that there was no difference between the two. Seeing him at all is a huge violation of our trust, and it is something you simply do not do when you're in a relationship with somebody. She replied that she wasn't going to do anything with him and that she trusted herself to remain true. Part of the reason she changed her mind, she said, was that her ex-boyfriend kept expecting her to rekindle their relationship in some way, probably sex. When it became apparent to her that he wouldn't relent on that subject, she decided to call off the trip to Utah. She told me that she only considered the idea for 2 or 3 days before she realized it was a terrible idea. I'll admit that I am madly in love with this girl, despite the crap she has put me through. I didn't break up with her right then and there. I thought maybe she had enough respect for our relationship, and that is why she decided not to go to Utah. However, we broke up about 2 weeks after this incident. Oddly enough, she broke up with me because I wasn't the one for her. I guess that was obvious to me for some time based on her behavior. Part of me really misses her and wants to reach out to her in some way. I guess we all have that one relationship where we know it is wrong, but can't pull ourselves away for one reason or another. I definitely feel that way about this girl. I know I'm going to get hurt more if I try to reach out to her, but I want to hold her in the worst way right now. I'm such a fool for her. And to me, that update where, she was going to Utah, she wasn't going to Utah, she was going somewhere else. There was conversations going on in the background with her ex still, and it just felt like so shady to me. And I really hope that OP did move on and didn't chase her down, because he deserves better than that, I think. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And this next story comes from To Be a Dessert Man, who says, am I the arsehole for taking 2 of my nephews on vacation with me, but not the other? I'm 36 male, child free. I have 2 sisters, Lisa and Annie. Lisa has 2 boys, 9 male and 7 male. Annie has an 8 male and 1 female. They both struggle financially a little, and I have a good job, so this year I offered to take my nephews to vacation with me this year. My niece is so small that I don't feel comfortable being alone with her at all, and Annie totally gets that. I told my sisters to bring the boys to my apartment for a weekend so I can see if they all get along and if I'm up to taking them to see the seaside with me for 14 days. The boys came, and at first we had a great time. I ordered us pizza, we watched a movie, played soccer, etc. Next morning I woke them up and gave them cereal. The 8-year-old throws the cereal on the floor and says, I have waffles on the weekend. Oh dear. I told him he can't have waffles for breakfast today, but we can make them for dinner on breakfast next day. He said he doesn't like cereal. I told him he can then just have some toast with peanut butter or some fruit. He yelled at me for not making him waffles. That day he also cut up my shirt because I didn't let him have cookies for lunch, and told me I suck for telling him to eat veggies before I give them ice cream. It was a nightmare. 7-year-old and 9-year-old behaved great. When my sisters came to pick them up, I told Annie what happened, and she said, oh, he's just high-spirited. I told her I'm not taking him for vacation. I also told Lisa I'd be glad to take her boys with me, and they were super excited. My parents and some aunts have been biting my head off for treating the kids differently and denying a boy to go to the seaside just because he misbehaved once. Am I the arsehole? You didn't make that boy waffles at the weekend, of course you're gonna be the arsehole. I'm just joking, chill out guys, please. Absolutely not the arsehole to me in this situation. I'm from a family with youngsters in it, 8-year-olds as well, and if they ever threw a bowl of cereal on the floor like that, cut up someone's shirt, that strikes me as extreme level behavior. I don't think I've ever seen any of the youngsters in my family act in that way, and I know some do, but this nephew seems like he's out of control, and would I want to take an out of control child on a week's holiday with me? No, because that wouldn't be a holiday at all. That wouldn't be a fun experience. It would ruin it for the other kids and for yourself, and why would you want to put yourself through that? Absolutely not the arsehole to me. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of Annie's family life. Obviously, she got a 1 female and she got this 8-year-old. And there may be more going on, but when she got to the point and she said, oh, he is just high-spirited, almost like enabling that kind of behavior, you think, oh, that poor kid, what's his future going to be like if he's allowed to do this sort of thing now? It worries me. But Spike-tailed Turtle says not the arsehole. That's not misbehaving once, that's a warning of a hellish week if you took him. She probably wants the break, but damn, if my kids were like that, I'd have sent a warning and how to handle that nonsense instructions. You don't let people find that out once they are stuck. Kit Kat says not the arsehole. Going with you is a privilege, it's not a right. And if he is behaving this way and your sister thinks it is normal behavior, how are you going to keep up with him while you are far away from his parents? because you can best believe that the next words out of his mouth would be, "You are not my mum. I don't have to listen to you." It would be a nightmare and he could possibly get hurt, so no, not the arsehole. Harry Sarah says, "Not the arsehole, this isn't misbehaving once. Your nephew is spoiled and out of control. At his age, that's usually a consequence of poor parenting. If your relatives think your nephew deserves a vacation, they are more than welcome to take him." Too Many Dogs says, "Not the arsehole, your 8-year-old nephew has serious issues which his mother is ignoring. Cutting up a shirt because he couldn't have cookies for lunch. That is very disturbing behaviour." And one more from Le Laws, who says, "Not the arsehole. The cereal thing was insanely rude, but I might have chalked that up to not understanding how to be a guest in someone's house, which can be taught, not by you of course, but by his mum. However, destroying someone's property, like with your shirt, goes way beyond misbehaving or being high-spirited. That's not your responsibility. It's unfortunate that his behaviour has been coddled by your sister, but that's her stuff to deal with, not yours to dance around. You are definitely doing the right thing." Which OP replies saying, "Honestly, if he just did one of these things, each one honestly, I would have written up to him having a bad day. That would be misbehaving once. Obviously I'd be upset about the shirt or the cereal, but I'd be willing to let it go if he apologized and meant it." But what do you guys make of this one? I've got to agree with that Too Many Dogs comment about, I find it disturbing that he went to cutting up, destroying someone's property for not getting cookies. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Rosie Baker 19, who says, "Am I the arsehole for causing my husband to get fired? My husband, 33, has a habit of making up excuses to get out of work, simply for just not feeling like working on certain days. This has affected us financially because his boss kept lowering his salary as a result. Had to get a second job. He's now bought a PS5 from his 14-year-old cousin and started playing it day and night. Meanwhile, missing work and lying to his boss about why he does it. This time, it's because of bad diarrhea and he couldn't get off the toilet. That time is because of fever, etc, etc. Honestly, I got fed up with him ruining his job and causing us lost money. I told him he needed to knock this off, but he told me to stay out of it and focus on my jobs. Days ago, he was asleep after staying up all night playing video games. He decided to skip work even though his boss gave him a last warning. His boss called at 8 AM and I picked up the phone. He asked where my husband was and whether he was coming to work. I straight up said no because he was up all night playing video games and decided he wasn't going next day. His boss ended the call with me, then I went to work. 2 hours later, I got a call from my husband panicking, saying he found a text from his boss saying he was fired and asked what I told him to get him to do that. I said I told him the truth, but he blew up at me saying he was cooking up excuses to get his now former boss off his back and give him the day off, but I went and fucked it all up. I told him he can't blame me after this pattern he set and the lack of commitment he's shown to his former boss. He yelled saying I did this to get back at him and to mess with his livelihood. He hung up, but the nasty texts kept coming. I went home and he's gone completely silent while occasionally venting about how I ruined his job for him, when I could have lied and told his former boss whatever excuses instead. Now obviously it's going to be a not the arsehole from me. He sounded like he was already on the path to losing his job the way he was going. He was already in your boss's targets with the last warning and reducing pay time and time again, damaging your home life with you having to get an extra job, putting the pressure on you, damaging your relationship at the same time, and it sounded like it was like a last straw for you. Sure, in some ways you may be damaging your own finances by him losing his job, but then I got a question: in the whole grand scheme of things, is this what you want from a relationship? There may be something I'm completely missing here. He may be absolutely amazing in something that I don't know about, but from what I can read, I doubt it very much. And is this what you want from a relationship? You're having to work extra yourself just to cover what he's not doing, and it's only going to get worse from here. Can you see him really rushing out to get a job now to cover his side of the pay? No, so it's going to be left to you to cover your rent, your expenses. I wouldn't want to be a part of that shit, I gotta tell you. But Melvar says, not the arsehole, you didn't cause him to get fired. His lack of commitment and responsibility did. He has no accountability by blaming you for this inevitable outcome. Honestly, I think you need to divorce him pronto. Ugradu says, I told him he needed to knock this off, but he told me to stay out of it and focus on my jobs. Excuse me, number 1. He decided to skip work even though his boss gave him a last warning. Excuse me, number 2. He's gone completely silent while occasionally venting about how I ruined his job for him. Excuse me, what the fuck, number 3. He told me to stay out of it and focus on my jobs, and then repeats 3 times in a row and then says, not the arsehole, you are underreacting the situation. Wildfell Spring says, not the arsehole, why are you still in a relationship with him if he doesn't see this as a partnership and turns nasty when his behavior has consequences? He doesn't sound mature enough to be in any relationship, let alone 33 and married with all the financial and emotional responsibilities that comes along with that. Stop supporting him, and I'd be carefully thinking if this is what you want your life to be like for the next 40, 50, 60 years. Emotional Ebb says, not the arsehole, he ruined it for himself. The job may well suck, most do, but he was engaging in self-destructive behavior by acting in a manner liable to get himself fired while not having a plan for a new source of income. By the way, this is a red flag. He sabotaged his job to such an extent that you had to get their second job. He's exercising weaponized incompetence. He has successfully made you into the sole income for the household, having earlier gotten you to taking on extra work to make up for his laziness. Do not be surprised if this is a long-term game plan. He will be a stay-at-home amateur gamer while you hold down 2 jobs to provide for his new lifestyle. He will protest strongly that he is job hunting every day, of course, or he might say he is in a funk because he's scared that you'll sabotage his next job, i.e. blaming you for his failing. Think long and hard about whether you want this relationship to continue. Now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What would you do if you was in it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time always means the absolute world to me. And once again, if you want to be involved in the next Pet Tax Tuesday, don't forget to message me at Narrations over on Twitter and send your pet tax to me over there with a hashtag Pet Tax Tuesday so I can save it and I can use it for future episodes. A huge thank you for sending them through. Always love to see them. They're absolutely amazing. So cute, some of them. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today